Last night I sent you out a spreadsheet that I said that you could use to be able to look at your progress measures for the interim to the star. And so I thought I would just make a quick video to show you how I would use the data. The first thing that I would do is I would turn on the filter. I'd be in the spreadsheets data so that I could actually turn on the filter. Okay, and now what I would do is I would look primarily at the performance levels. And so the first thing that I would do is I would come over here to my math performance level descriptors, and I would filter by color, and I would go to the dark green because that's my masters. And so I have 81 students that had masters on last year's STAR test. So that I would come over here to the masters column for my interim, and I would again filter by color anybody that was predicted from this interim test to score masters. And so I have 43. So I would have 43 of my students that had masters on STAR are predicted to get masters again this year on STAR. Then I'd come up here and I would clear my filter, and I would come back here and I would again filter by color. I would do meets. I would come over here and I would do again the same thing, filter by color, and I would choose that color, and it's 97. So I have 62 out of my 97 that are predicted to go from meets to meets. And you'll see that some of these are what Lead Forward calls performance hoppers, but I want to make sure that they are at least at meets. So I go up here and I click clear again, and now I want to look at my approaches, filter by color, yellow, and I'm looking down here in the bottom left, and that says 185 of my students scored approaches on STAR. So I'm going to come up here, filter, approaches, filter by color, and out of that 185, 136 are predicted by the interim data to score approaches again or better. Okay, and so I clear my data, and then I can do the same thing with filter by color, my not meets. And this time what I want to filter for is anybody who's going to come out of not meets. So I want to filter by yellow and go to my approaches column. And so I've got 78 that are predicted to come out of the not meets. The only problem here is this also gives me the dashes for the students that did not test. So sorry about that. I just realized that. All right, one of the things I wanted to let you know was over here under your STAR test, anybody that did not take the test but should have taken the test will have a STAR score percent of 0, and they have a not meet. That's how we get those students who were absent or those students who decided not to test. All of those are in here as a 0 and not meet. And so these are their predicted scores. Okay, and what I can do is I can get rid of those dashes. So that takes care of those students that did not test on interim. Okay. And then I do the same thing for reading. I go to my reading performance level descriptor, and I filter I filter on the cell color instead of the font color. So dark green, that's my students who scored masters on STAR. I come over here to my reading masters. I use that pull down, and I filter by color. Okay. And that tells me that I have 24 students who are predicted to score masters on STAR based upon the interim data. Okay, if you need additional help, just let me know.